Now, week on the show, we bring you a bunch of startup success stories. But this time round, we've decided to do things differently. Here's a collection of starting up failures, the learnings from them and mistakes that entrepreneurs can avoid. Brishant Chandavarkar is here with all of that.
You don't get disheartened if your idea fails. You learn from your failures. You learn what not to do. You learn what to do right. You evaluate yourself and you see where did you go wrong.
There are many cliches like this telling you to remain positive and never give up. But it's only after you failed in your first venture do these cliches sound more than just like motivating lines. Today's success stories live and breathe by these cliches. And it's not the guys who've made it big, but the guys who failed and start up again. So remember, starting up and restarting up are part of the same equation.
Back in 2006, when India was still riding high on the success of Naukri.com, serial entrepreneur Rohit Agarwal conceptualized a new recruiting platform. One which rewarded members on the basis of referrals. The platform was called TechTribe and did see some early success.
The model around it that we had imagined and we were trying to create was around the model of referral recruiting. So as we got millions of members, millions of customers trying to use the site or the concept to connect with others, obviously since India was growing at a very fast rate, the idea was why wouldn't the same people refer other known people that they knew in their personal lives?
Launching on the internet, TechTribe became an instant hit, garnering 1 million users at its peak. So much so that venture capital firm Canaan Partners jumped in with close to $10 million in funding. Yet over the course of the next 12 months, it became apparent that the company wasn't growing and had reached a point of stagnation. There was a problem right at its root, one which saw Rohit and Alok shutting down the company rather than extending the pain.
The core hypothesis was we will be able to drive higher quality of referrals than what you get through a normal job board. And when we worked through the system and through the incentives that we put in place for referrals, what we found out was that the quality of referrals was not necessarily better than what the company would get through a job board.
So while Rohit and Alok's execution skills were on the dot, TechTribe as a concept of referral recruiting just didn't work. Another venture which made a lot of buzz in its early days was Blink, a venture founded by Devang Rayani. The company was built around a product which was basically a physical screen attached to a shopping cart, which helped the customer make decisions on what to buy inside a retail store depending upon the price and need.
If you take a look at the screen here.
To scale up Blink, Devang needed large funding in excess of 5 crores, owing to hardware costs, but instead of creating a beta version and looking for quick funding, Devang and his team decided to obsess on the product and delayed the funding process, which eventually led to Blink shutting shop.
The choice that we made was we will not do something which is and also ran just for the sake of surviving. We started with this audacious dream and we thought we could take that risk and survive. If we would have taken less time on those tiny details, which probably did not matter from that perspective, from the time perspective, if we would have got the capital in, we would have survived.
In a dynamic Indian economy swung by reform and regulation, startups are almost always on the receiving end. And while it is no easy task to judge what the regulator or market will do, it is always good to have a plan B. And one company that put that into practice was Mumbai-based Netco, whose primary business was built around SMS. But when regulators came down sharply on bulk SMS early in 2011, Netco realized that it had to pivot its business model. They did so by keeping SMS on the bench and moving to mobile internet.
The one approach is closed, what about the other approaches? So you have to spread the risk. You have to understand the space that you're in. You're not married or tied to one channel or one way of doing business. You are serving a need. You're servicing a need of a market. That, if that is understood properly, I'm sure the entrepreneur will be able to find out other ways of servicing that need if one way is affected by some externality.
Netco today is making headway into the mobile advertising vertical using PhoneCC, a web-based application for advertising. K. Ganesh, one of India's foremost angel investors, recognizes the shift, though he does believe that the accepting of failure might take some time in India.
Because of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, because of angel investors, mentors and advisors and organizations like TIE, I think it's getting accepted, even though at a very small scale, that failure is a great teacher. And there is nothing wrong about failing as long as you get up and do a startup again.
An entrepreneur must find his calling. For Rohit, some time off after Tech Tribe was all that was needed before he started his next venture called 10marks.com, a startup targeting the education sector. While Veer Chand, realizing his calling, continues with Netcore as a strategist, while Devang is still searching for his calling. Their experiences, though, have had a deep impact on them and have made them battle-ready for their next ventures.
The cultural stigma against failure in India will take some time to change. Luckily, the investor community has realized the importance of this and are so making exit clauses for the entrepreneur, ensuring that his business risk and personal risk are completely separated. Ensuring also that if you have to fail, fail quickly and learn proudly.
I always tell people, if you're afraid to fail, you'll never succeed. John F. Kennedy said, only those who dare fail greatly will succeed greatly.